Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beneath the Silence, Healing the Wounds of Betrayal Trauma. I'm Sandy Joy, and I just want to remind everyone that I don't edit these podcasts, that they're real, raw, authentic, and full of vulnerability. I want to offer a warm welcome to all those who have watched or listened previously to any of my podcasts, as well as a warm welcome to anyone who may be new and that this is the first podcast that you're listening to. Um, so, welcome. And as always, remember to take a break if you need to take a break and do whatever you need to do for yourself. Okay. So today we're going to talk about something that we don't usually talk about, and that many survivors of betrayal trauma carry quietly and painfully, and that's the betrayal of self and self-abandonment. And I'm also going to talk about what it may feel like when our own body feels like the betrayer. Our body is betraying us, okay? So we're going to gently explore what happens when, after prolonged betrayal and survival, people begin to feel like their own bodies have betrayed them, often through illness, pain, and exhaustion, as well as that, what does betrayal of self and self-abandonment mean? Okay. And I want to be very clear from the beginning. This is not about blaming yourself. This is about understanding survival and restoring compassion, truth, and connection. As always, like I said, please listen at your own pace. Pause if you need to. Ground yourself. Your safety matters here. You matter. Okay. So, what is betrayal of self? Well, it happens when a person repeatedly overrides their own needs, boundaries, intuition, or truth in order to preserve safety, attachment, or belonging. And so this may even be happening before you even know that there's any betrayal. Okay. Whether that is at work, in a intimate partner relationship, or in any other form of relationships. Okay. Because betrayal is always relational. And what it may look like: ignoring internal warning signals. Okay. Silencing own needs, minimizing pain, explaining away harm, choosing connection over authenticity, being self-deprecating. We are masters at breaking ourselves down, but we are completely and utterly terrible at building ourselves up. And to work towards a self-like, self-love um, perspective, okay? And a self-love perspective that's not self-centered, narcissistic. It's that you love yourself enough to respect yourself enough to not accept abuse or deceit or whatever else that you may or may not know that is happening. Okay? So, self-care, first line of defense. Foundation of self-love is how do we care for ourselves? And then it's self-compassion comes from that. And that's how are we kind to ourselves? What what do we say to ourselves? So being self-deprecating sometimes can be really joking, but if we're doing it much of the time, or we're the brunt of our own jokes, or allow others, to for us to be the brunt of their jokes, that's deprecating. Whether self that we're doing it to ourselves or we allow it because we're just trying to keep connection. And I want to say this very, very clearly. Self-abandonment, okay, self-betrayal, self-abandonment is not a character flaw. It is a survival adaptation. We are trying to survive, even when we don't realize that we're trying to survive. Okay. So when telling the truth risks abandonment, punishment, violence, or loss, the nervous system learns very quickly What must be sacrificed to stay safe? Often, what gets sacrificed is the self. We sacrifice ourselves. Okay. Here's the other important. Well, I'm gonna say this towards the end. Now, I'm going to say it now. The most important relationship we'll ever have in our life is the one with self. And if we're not loyal to self, but we are loyal to our perpetrator or an abuser, that is the clear definition of self-abandonment, self-betrayal. Okay? So self-abandonment is central. I'm going to take a drink of water here. I don't know why. All of a sudden I get the yawns at the beginning, and maybe that's just nervousness until I get right into it. So, why self-abandonment is central to betrayal trauma? So, betrayal trauma is unique because it occurs within relationships we depend on. Okay, we've talked about that. I don't need to go further. So, when harm comes from someone we rely on, whether that is that person is a parent, a partner, an institution, a professional, clergy person, a boss, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, leaving or confronting may not be possible. Okay, so instead, the nervous system adapts by often betrayal trauma blindness, okay, minimizing then our reality, doubting our intuition. We don't listen to that gut instinct that Dr. Minwala calls our second brain, suppressing emotional and bodily cues. Okay, we suppress those. We ignore them often. This is sometimes called the betrayal blindness, not because survivors are weak, but because awareness itself could threaten survival. Okay, so over time, this creates a profound loss of internal trust. I don't know what I feel anymore. I don't trust my own judgment. Maybe I'm wrong. Self-abandonment becomes the price of staying connected. So, where does it begin? It just doesn't appear out of nowhere, but it often begins in environments marked by power imbalances, emotional or physical unsafety, conditional love, silencing of needs or truth. And this can occur through childhood relational trauma, and that childhood relational trauma can carry through into our adulthood. Okay, we learn that to be people pleasers, perfectionists, that whatever somebody else wants and does and says is top priority. Okay, can come through family betrayal trauma. It can come through intimate partner betrayal, cultural, religious, or institutional betrayal, betrayal by the helping professional. A common thread is this: when safety depends on compliance, the self learns to disappear. Okay. So when the body feels like the betrayer, so this is kind of another aspect, right? So many survivors reach a point, which is often years after the original betrayal, where they begin to say things like, my body is turned against me. I can't trust my body anymore. My body betrayed me. This often shows up as chronic illness, autoimmune conditions, chronic pain, exhaustion or collapse. That's most of us. Digestive, hormonal, or neurological symptoms. And for many people, this feels like the deepest betrayal of all because it is my own body. I'm going to, again, share. In 2023, I was diagnosed with three severe health issues that made me retire. Was the main, why I retired as a psychotherapist. And I'm only working part-time. And I feel my body let me the F down because not only was I diagnosed with severe neck issues, a growth in my neck, non or benign, um, but also a very severe collapse in my C spine, degeneration in my C-spine that makes it if I fall, I can break my neck very easily. So I wear a cervical collar whenever I'm in a vehicle, whatever that moving vehicle is. And I wear a cervical collar, especially winter, out when I'm out with my pup. Because especially the older I get, just balance issues, slip and fall, my neck could break and it can mean death. And then I was diagnosed, my asthma got very, very severe. And I now have to take biologics for my lungs, which is very expensive medication and it suppresses the immune system, but it's working. So that's good. And the third diagnosis was the adrenal insufficiency. Um, from there, the adrenal insufficiency, the year later, is diagnosed with steroid induced, which is the adrenal induced diabetes. And I have heart issues as well. And I came to a point that it's like, WTF, body, stop. I've got a lot of life to live that I still want to live. And I hope I have, but I don't know. But do any of us? And so I just have to, um, I have to move through it, but I had to grieve it. Okay. But I did feel that my body was letting me down. So for many people, like I said, the deepest dark or deepest betrayal is that of my own body. But here's the refrain that's so important. The body is not betraying you. The body is communicating with you. And that's what I had to learn, that my own body was communicating with me to say that it wasn't happy, that I had been through hell since childhood and different avenues, but the most painful was absolutely my marriage, separation, and divorce. Hands down, a million times worse than anything else I had ever experienced in my life. And that caused so much health issues because I didn't know what I didn't know, but I was holding on to always putting my partner first, always putting him first. And it was taking a toll, and it took a toll on me. The body carries what the mind and nervous system had to suppress to survive. It holds the cost of prolonged hypervigilance, boundary violation, and emotional silencing and self-abandonment. Often, illness emerges after danger has passed. That is when the body no longer has to stay in survival mode. So I'm going to talk about this just for a moment. A few years before D-Day for me, I was having nightmares that my husband at the time was having affairs. And I would wake up in the middle of the night bawling. The nightmare would wake me up and I would just be bawling. And he would, wake up because he'd hear me crying and it's like, what's wrong? And it's like, I had a nightmare and it was a recurring nightmare. So my body was trying to tell me, my subconscious was trying to tell me something, but he assured me he was not having any affairs. We were going for, marital support. Um, and there was just something I knew but didn't know. I had no idea the extent. I had no idea about the addictions. I had no idea that he actually was having affairs. But my body was trying to tell me subconsciously, I guess I knew whether that was betrayal, trauma, blindness, or whatever it was. I believed him. I was loyal to him, even though my body was trying to tell me things through those nightmares. Okay. For many survivors, the deepest betrayal isn't just relational, it's believing their own body has failed them. And that was me. I believed my body had failed me a number of times, but especially in 2023. But illness is often the body's final act of loyalty. Keep that. Take this quote, okay? For many survivors, The deepest betrayal isn't just relational, and this is my quote. It is believing their own body had failed them. But illness is often the body's final act of loyalty. I had to learn to thank my body. In that way, symptoms are not failures. They are a testimony of what you had been through. Many survivors are taught, directly or indirectly, to distrust their bodies through medical dismissal or gaslighting, through being told it's all in your head, through shame about limits, through pressure to push through. Just get over it. We don't get over anything, by the way. We don't go around it. We don't go under it. We move through it. We have to move through it because it happened. We can't let it go. We can't just cut that ribbon and let it fly, float away. It doesn't happen. It stays in our cells until we move through it. Okay, we move through it by processing it, whatever that looks like for you. Over time, this creates another layer of betrayal, believing the body is weak, broken, or the enemy. But the truth is, your body adapted to prolonged stress. It carried what you cannot consciously hold. Healing does not begin by fixing or forcing change. It begins with reconnection. So, just like in any relationship, it's about reconnection. So the one with self, it's reconnecting with self. So it's building trust within your internal signals. So focusing on those hundreds of small decisions we make every day that we don't even think about, we make them because they're in our best interest. Do I get out of bed? Do I brush my teeth? Do I wash my face? Do I shower? Do I wash my hair? Do I make coffee or let the dog out first? Whatever it is, we're going to make those decisions, and we make hundreds of little decisions every day. And when we can realize how many decisions we're making and we trust ourselves to make them, then we can start trusting ourselves to make the bigger decisions. It's learning to listen to the body without judgment, honoring limits without shame, seeing boundaries as acts of self-loyalty, grieving the parts of yourself, including your body, that had to suffer in silence. Healing asks us to move from control to curiosity, from criticism to compassion, override to listening. It's choosing yourself, and it may feel unsafe at first. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means your nervous system is learning something new, and it can take time, and it's giving yourself grace, compassion for self. So, in closing, it's coming home to yourself. You did not abandon yourself because you were weak. You adapted because you had to. Your body did not betray you. It carried you through survival. Healing betrayal trauma is a slow return to voice, to needs, to limits, to self-trust. Coming home to yourself is not betrayal. It is repair. I'd like to welcome you home. So 3 takeaways is self-abandonment is a survival response, not a personal failure. The body does not betray. It communicates the cost of prolonged survival. And the third one is healing involves rebuilding self-loyalty, compassion, and trust with both self and your body. You may reconnect with yourself and your body, and this can be, something that you want to do right now. I'm just going to walk you through a guided reflection that you may wish to invite yourself to do. If you want to pause, just sit comfortably. and place a hand on your body, whether that's over your heart, on your shoulders, like this. This is almost giving yourself a hug. And begin by taking a slow breath in and always through the nose and out, then slow breath out through the mouth. Hold and out. And do as many as you would like. If it feels safe, gently notice your body, not judge it, not to change it, just to notice. But there's no right way to feel or wrong way to feel. And now quietly say to yourself, I did what I needed to survive. Just in your head or softly out loud. Notice what comes up, what sensations, emotions, or nothing at all. All responses are welcome. Bring your attention to any part of your body that feels tired, tense, heavy, or just uncomfortable. You don't need to fix it, just acknowledge it. It's moving towards the tension, the tiredness, the tenseness, the uncomfortableness. You might say, thank you for carrying this for me. If it feels okay, place a hand there. Maybe it's in your abdomen. Maybe it's your chest. Maybe it's the back of your neck. Or imagine warmth or softness around that area. And now gently reflect. Where have I learned to silence myself? And that may be in childhood. It may be as an adolescent, young adult. It may have been in your most recent relationship, at work. The next question is, where have I overridden my needs to stay safe? And just, again, give yourself grace. You may have multiple times that this has happened. Pick one or two. And what would it feel like to offer myself permission to listen just a little more? To listen to my gut instinct, to listen to what I need. Take another breath. And slowly out. And you might repeat, I'm learning to be loyal to myself. There's no rush. There's no demand. Healing happens in moments like this. Quiet, compassion, and honesty. When you're ready, slowly return. And thank you. Thank you for working through that with me, doing that with me, or saving it for another time. I want to thank you for joining me today on Beneath the Silence, Healing the Wounds of Betrayal Trauma. And remember that healing is possible, even from the deepest, darkest wounds. If this episode resonated with you, let me know, leave a comment, or send me an email, sandy@sandrajoy.ca. If you would like, me to copy and paste that guideline for you of the exercise we just did, send me an email and I'll send that to you. Okay? No pressure, no anything, I'll just send that to you. If you would like more resources, please go to my website at sandrajoy.ca. And if you're interested in my betrayal trauma course, again, can be found on my website. If you're able and willing, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That again helps the algorithm, and like and share the podcasts so that others may learn and form community. Join me next week as we dive into internal and external safety. So how do we know we're safe? What does that feel like? What is it? So what are they, the external and internal safety? What are they and how can we access them? This conversation matters and is very important. You matter and are very important. And until next time, take gentle care of yourself. And remember, I see you, I hear you, and I believe you. Until we meet again, thank you.